All right, now you've had a little bit of Blues Clues singing to get us in the mood for talking about research. I hope you enjoyed the episode of Blues Clues and what does Blue want to do with the picture. So, why do we watch this? Essentially, it's to show you how research doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be confusing. It doesn't have to be scholarly and academic in a way where you have to use really enormous words and vocabulary to sound as erudite as possible. All right, so I'm not doing a very good job there, but you can even take a children's television show and learn about communication research from that. Okay, so what do I mean by this? So research is based upon asking questions. So this means you are going to have to ask questions, like we talked about in class, in order to get further along and to be able to do a strong project. Research begins when you just have a desire to find an answer. So that's basically what it is. And in this episode, let's say really the entire episode answers this question because the episode's called What Does Blue Want to Do with Her Picture? That's a question. And the whole episode is this investigation of what she wants to do. So it's very straightforward. Our second step is this idea of understanding that research is a systematic process. It's planned, it's orderly, it goes in these kind of very precise step-by-step process. It's not just do whatever you want whenever you feel like it. You have to follow it in a particular format, which is one of the reasons I'm going to the flipped classroom model, is because I feel like in past semesters, if students missed a class, it was like they missed a step, and they were always a little bit off for the rest of the project. They never seemed to be able to pick it up. And so I wanted to make all of you get each of these steps. And of course, in Blues Clues, Steve writes everything in the handy-dandy notebook so that he doesn't forget anything, he doesn't miss it. And so we're going to have to do this in a very careful, orderly process as well. Step 3, research is potentially replicable. So this idea is that someone else could follow the same steps that you did and have similar results. Okay? And of course in here, spatula and bowl, we're rearranging recipe cards in order to make banana bread because you have to do things in a certain order for it to work right. If you don't do it in the correct order, then it's just going to create all sorts of havoc. And I don't know about you, but I don't need havoc in my life, any more havoc. I have enough as it is, thank you. And so we want to be able to follow this in a very replicable fashion so that somebody can follow it and come up with the same ideas as you. Fourth step, research is reflexive and self-critical. You need to take a look at what you're doing, how you're doing things, and take a look at where are the problems in your research project. And I tell you what, every research question, every research project has problems. It is a part of life, and we don't mind telling people where our limitations are. In fact, we will highlight these at the end of a project to say, these are things that could be done better or could be done differently, so that we are very upfront and transparent about it. And of course, in the episode, Steve reviewed the 3 clues with the viewers, and Steve asked them if they think his answer is correct, and Steve asked Blue if his answer is correct, so he thinks he has it, but he's going to be thinking about it. Am I telling myself the right thing when I think it's this? And he'll check it out. All right, research. Step 5, research is cumulative and self-correcting. There is this idea in research that you don't start research at the beginning. I mean, you have to start somewhere, but chances are somebody has started somewhere before you. And so with this idea that somebody else has started before you, you're going to look and find the history that other people have created. And you can incorporate this into your project. So we want you to understand that you're not doing this alone. We really need to take a look at the literature that's been published out there in order to take a look at what others have discovered. And then you will have your ideas, and we put them out there. And if other people find that what you researched had to be changed, as a researcher, we're okay with that if it needs to be corrected in the future. And that's the self-correcting is the idea that we put it out there and we allow others to follow our methods, and if there are problems, we allow it to be corrected. In Blue's Clues, Steve helped spatula and bowl rearrange the muffin recipe, and part of this was based on what Steve had done before with muffins, and so he was able to go with the past and able to show the correct way to do it. Last idea, research is cyclical. Research ends up back where it started in some ways because there will now be new questions that emerge based on answers to previous questions. So Steve asked Blue who she wants to send her picture to after he finds out that she wants to send her picture to someone. You will discover something, hopefully, in your research project, and that will elicit new questions. It doesn't just end. We don't have a question and then we have an answer and that's it forever. Well, it might be forever for you because you might not be interested in carrying this on because it's just a class. But the idea is that it could be carried on and that there will always be new questions. There will never be a time when we know everything that we need to know about something and we no longer have to discuss it. So now, with all of these things, what I want you to be doing with your research question and when you come to class at our next class session is I want you to look at the topics that you say you're very interested in. And you're going to have to ask a question. What is it about this topic that you might like to know a little bit more about? So you like this topic, but there has to be a nuance there somewhere that you don't know already. So let's ask questions. Then we're going to have to be systematic about it, and this is where I come in. So praise the Lord, you don't have to figure out the step-by-step process. I will give it to you, and trust me, I'm not the one who developed it in the first place. Other people have, but it's careful, and we will get to work on the step-by-step process so that you're in good shape. Anything we do should be replicable. So as you're thinking about kind of what you want to find out about your topic of interest, you got to think of something that if another person wanted to do this, they could ask the same questions. They could give surveys out in the same way. You don't want to create something that's so unique it could never be looked at again. That's not considered communication research. That might be, you could maybe analyze it, but you wouldn't be researching. You want to have an open mind that you will acknowledge that you could have flaws in your research and how you do things, and that's uncomfortable, but you know what, it's okay. We learn a lot in research by finding out nothing. When we have a question, is it important that people break up from a romantic relationship in person? And if we research this, we have surveys, focus groups, and we find out that we still don't know at the end of the research, that maybe not. That's interesting still, that a lot of people have different ideas and that there's not one basic human idea about it. It's cool. So that's good. It's something that we're allowed for. Let's see. So cumulative self-correcting, you don't really have to worry about this now, but it would allow your research basically to be somewhere within a shared history. It's cyclical. If you get the answers to your questions, do you think there'll be more questions that somebody else could come up with? I bet there will be. I hope so. So take another look at those questions, and I want you to come to class, and we are going to try to really flesh out the topic, the research question that you can have. So I will see you in class, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of the day. Oh, and we need to have the word of the day. So the word of the day is going to be from Blue's Clues, and the word of the day is banana muffins. Okay, that's 2 words. So our 2 words of the day are banana muffins. Okay? Bye-bye.